Socrates, now that you have proven that it is likely that the soul is immortal, can I ask you a few questions?
Of course, Cebes.
Do you believe that your soul is you in the afterlife?
Cebes, what is it that you mean by you?
Let me clarify. Do you think that your soul will be unique to you, or will it be the same as every other soul?
It will be unique, of course.
Okay, let's set that point aside now. Do you think that the mind and the soul are separate?
Well, how can this be so, that the mind and soul are separate?
The mind, the actual learning and knowledge that occurs, exists within the brain, correct?
Well, of course.
And the brain is a physical part of the body, right?
Yes, it is.
We're saying that the brain is a physical part of the body, but what of the mind? Is that a part of the brain as well?
The mind, the actual learning and knowledge, is one with the soul, so it is not part of the brain.
So we can logic then that the soul as well as the mind go to the afterlife together as one, correct?
Yes, that is exactly what it is I am saying.
Okay, but when the soul is in the afterlife, how can it access the mind without the brain? The mind is accessed using the brain. If the soul disposes of the brain before it enters the afterlife, then it must have no way to access the mind.
This is a very good point. But one could also say that the soul has no need to access the mind. The soul is all-knowing. Therefore, it knows all the mind knows. If the mind were to investigate something, it is merely so the soul could know it. Now, that may sound confusing, but if we look, for example, at predicting the future, in a sense, the soul can predict the future, but it doesn't mean that the future mustn't still happen. The future, in this case being the mind doing its investigating, still needs to occur so the soul can know what it already knows.
So you're saying, Socrates, that in order for the soul to know all, the mind must still investigate and learn the things that the soul already knows?
Yes, exactly.
Let's say I agree with you, that souls in the afterlife are all knowledgeable. How can each soul be individual? Or in other words, what is it, Socrates, that makes each man's soul unique from every other soul?
I am not sure, but I can only logic that it must be his mind. Every other part of his body are very similar to all men, so it cannot be that. That leaves us with the mind.
So let me understand you. You're saying that the mind is what gives each man his uniqueness?
Yes, that is what I am saying.
If the mind gives each man his uniqueness, and each soul is unique, then doesn't that soul have to access the mind to be unique? And if this is so, where is it that the mind gets this difference? Is it always there, or is it something that changes over time?
It is not something that changes. The soul, and thus the mind, are always the same.
If the soul, and as we said earlier, also the mind, are something that do not change, then how can the soul ever investigate things, as you said earlier? If it is to investigate, then it is also learning. You would have to agree that learning causes a change. Is this not correct, Socrates?
Yes, this is correct, Cebes. Learning does cause a change.
Then wouldn't it be likely that the mind does the learning and the investigating, and that the soul does not do these things?
I cannot say that I disagree.
If the mind does the learning and investigating, even in the afterlife, then the soul would have to be changing. If the soul is all-knowing, as you say, then what is the need for the mind to learn? Man investigates to seek more understanding and knowledge. Surely something that is all-knowledgeable has no need to learn. And if it is also learning and investigating, then a change has to be occurring. As we said earlier, because those two things do cause a change.
It would appear I have said the soul can change. However, that is assuming that the mind and soul are two separate entities working together as one. I say, however, the soul and mind are one. If this is true, the soul knows the knowledge of the mind that gives it its individuality already, and no change occurs, and is therefore immortal.